Order. Would everyone stand and please salute the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, under roll call. Supervisors Ledwin, Fisher, and Schrader are in attendance. Absent are Supervisors Cassiola and Supervisor Cotton. Now, the administrative items today. We're going to discuss additional road work on Angra Road. I'll read the public notice. The Cecil Township Board of Supervisors will hold a special public meeting on Thursday, August 14th at 9 a.m. in the meeting room at the municipal building at 3599 Millers Run Road to discuss additional work on Angra. Dan, would you like to explain the
Sure.
work we're encompassing here?
There has been work contemplated, as the board knows, on Angra Road for a while. The first part of the work on Angra Road that's going to take place from the entrance to the Overlook development down to Technology Drive, and that direction is going to be taken on by the developer. He's in motion to get that work going. There's an approved plan as a part of the development, which he's going to do the work. And his work's going to consist of some tree cutting, which he's already done, some installation of some drainage, and he's going to do base stabilization to that road and then pave it. That portion of the road will be about 20 feet wide. That's about all he can squeeze in down there. It will have some curbs and some drainage on it. And the reason why he's putting some inlets and other things in on that road is there's some more significant issues related to actual surface drainage and things that they have to collect. So that's the part of the work that the developer's doing. In order to capitalize on the base reclamation process that's going on and try to get some synergy going on down there, there's really only one person in the area that does the base reclamation as a subcontractor. He's going to be doing that work for the developer, and then by coincidence, not coincidence, but by happenstance, he's the same contractor that we have under contract as a subcontractor to Youngblood Paving, who has our paving project. So it really makes sense to get the base stabilization we want to do for the entire road. The developer's doing one half. At the time while they're doing it, it makes sense to do the entire road and get it done in one portion of the time. Number one, that keeps it from going into another construction season. Number two, we capitalize on a very good unit price, which we think we have in the contract. And number three, it wasn't voted on for the last meeting, and when Joe Seitz went back to the contractor and talked to him, it would have cost an extra $7,000 on mobilization if he didn't get in there at the same time. So we think that's why it's prudent to go ahead and actually do the work. Now let me just give you a brief description on what we did. Originally we looked at Angra Road to put it in and improve it to a township standard. That would be what a subdivision plan would take. Inlets every 400 feet, drainage pipe along the road, curbs, and the whole, making it, bringing it up to a full township road. When we stepped back and took a look at it and thought about, the majority of the traffic's coming out of the Overlook there. There are people that pass through the township and come through that area, but the majority of the traffic is going to be, it'll be sporadic, and then you have this big subdivision, and that's all going to go in that direction, and mostly towards South Point. So that's going to be curbed. And like I said, it's going to be a consistent width going down through there. What we thought about to be more practical and take away from the $300,000 that we had originally projected that it was going to cost to do this road, we said, we met with Bill, we talked about it, we walked the road again, and we said, hey, the road for the most part is wide enough. Let's just pave the road where it is. We can avoid going and doing excavation on properties and other things to widen out fully in that area. Bill's going to be able to get some trees down through the part of this so that we can get some dangerous situations taken away. And then we would go in and actually Bill through the Public Works would be able to replace the cross pipes for drainage. And then there's a couple areas that we're going to need some under drain up there that Bill's going to be able to run along with the crew after they get the base stabilization work done. So in essence, we're building structurally the same road that we plan to build for the development, we're requiring the developer to build. The only, I won't even call it a shortcut, it's really the only cost savings that we're taking on this is we're not forcing a widening to go and excavate on people's property. We really don't have a drainage drainage issues there other than there's a little bit of standing water that's due to the fact that we don't have a good shoulder established and it's just, it needs worked up like we've done on other roads. So the essence of that brings that $300,000 down if we take away that bill doing the drainage, some of the excavation, other things that were required about that. We can get the price of the work down to just do the basic work with Youngblood Paving and his subcontractor. We would just go in and do the base reclamation and then put in 3 inches of binder and 1.5 inches of wearing course on top of that. And that cost comes down to $176,631. So that would be, on our part, that's our recommendation for the board to consider as a change order to Youngblood's contract to do this work. So, just my opinion is that I think that we've done a really good job on some of these I'll call them country roads. We're getting them back in shape. This would sort of fill in that whole corridor there, get the whole thing completed. Burnside's done now. Get Anger done all the way to technology, and I think that's a big accomplishment from where we were a couple of years ago.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Bill, no, I wanted to ask you don't think that there's any problems then after they do the base stabilization with the Public Works being able to get in there and do the cross-drain pipes? Take care of that situation?
No, I don't believe we'll have a problem with the cross drains. In fact, I would probably, I'm not sure of the elevation of those cross drains. I would probably prefer to get in there before they did the base stabilization and get them replaced. I'm not sure exactly at what depth they are, but my understanding is there's still casing, old gas line that they've used to cross the road with. So
it'd be better to get that in there first.
Yeah, we'll do that prior to, depending on the elevation of the cross drain. The other part of it is the under drain. We can't address that until they have actually done the base stabilization. Then we'll go in there and put the under drain in where it's needed. There are currently some areas where the water is actually trapped in the shoulder of the road, and that's just due to the unimproved conditions out there. On the back side of this, or I should say on the front side of this, is the removal of the trees. We had a proposal from a Bulldog Tree Service for $12,950. Bulldog is no longer able to honor that price. So I went back to Ken's Tree Service up there in Muse and asked Ken if he would be interested in resubmitting another bid with the 7th tree included in there. He agreed that he would and has submitted actually a lower price of $9,500 for the removal of those 7 trees, which includes, yes, he will be able to do that. He anticipates that he'll be able to start that in 2 weeks. And that includes the removal of the large portion of the tree to Mr. Strang's property, removing the tops from the job site, and grinding the stumps, and maintenance and protection of traffic.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other questions from the supervisor before we open it up to the audience?
This is for both Bill and Dan. I just want to make sure that the reduction in cost, you're confident that this road is still going to last us, that we're not taking any shortcuts that would cause the road in 3 years for us to be back there doing more work on Anger Road. That this is a good decision and that you recommend it and we'll go forward from there.
That's our recommendation, yes, absolutely.
Okay. Bill?
Yes.
Any other comments from the supervisors? Okay, is there any comments from the floor?
Go on. How long ago did you pave McCall Road? 2 years?
Yeah, maybe.
What are you doing now? What are you doing now, Bill, on McCall Road?
Chip seal.
This isn't about Anger Road. This isn't about
I'm making a
McConnell.
point here.
Okay, what's your point? What's the point?
What are you doing now on McCall Road? Cutting out all the broken up road, right?
Doing some base repairs.
Right.
Yes.
So there's no storm source.
So 2 years, you're back there repairing all the road. Again, in 2 years. So there's no storm source. Roughly, how much money have you put in to clean the road? A lot, because there's no storm source. You're gonna do the same thing on this road. The water's gonna get under the road and break it off, and you're gonna be back there in 3 years patching it off. I'll guarantee it. And I'd like that to put on the record that I guarantee it, you're gonna be back there patching that road. You're piecemealing it again. Nothing against you, Bill. I know you got only so much money. You love to have money as
You
you
feel
all
that
do.
that's gonna bust up in 3 years? Yeah.
McConnell did.
But let me answer.
There's an underdrain there, I think that's the.
Yeah, but he's like putting a little bit under drain. I mean, I don't understand why you just don't spend the $300,000, do the road right, and be done with it for 15 years.
Ron, you and I both know there's different ways to do drainage. You don't have to put storm sewers in. If you effectively carry a ditch alongside of a road and you give water a chance to bleed out from underneath the surface, drainage ditches along or parallel to roads work just as well as storm sewers. When you put in storm sewers, you concentrate water. You have to discharge it at a point where you may cause harm to other people on property. When you maintain the drainage patterns the way they are, we're not going to have issues with residents or other things in this particular area. You know, there are sewers out there now. This part of the road could, there's other properties along there that could develop. And if those properties develop, the developers would be required to, anywhere that they own property, that they would be required to widen the road and build it to the township standard. I think what the township is doing is building a road that is going to be structurally sound and will last. We have a different approach here with Bill, the way things, we're on top of the maintenance. Ditches need to be established every year. You need to have the crew out there watching and making sure things are moving along and drainage is occurring. I mean, Ron's right, there can be problems, but I think that in this application, we don't need a full storm sewer system there. If we get under drains in the right place where we need to have them, that can be just as effective and we'll be able to carry that water away. So I respect what Ron says, but I don't think that we need to go to that full extent here.